Hey guys, Kim here, aka Spartan Stitcher on Instagram. I'm back again with another weekly cross-stitching update. Today is the 14th of September 2020. This is video number 86, and I worked on 3 pieces this week. I have a little bit of an aviation type story at the end, so if you want to stick around for that, you're more than welcome. But first, the 3 pieces I worked on. Monday, after uploading my video, I did finish my Tour de France challenge on Friends Forever by Ann Stokes. I did 1,300 stitches to finish the race, and then I worked on it a second day this week, and then I've already put in 300 stitches on it this morning, so it has over 4,000 more tent stitches than when you saw it last week. Last week, of course, I had this page done for you and more on this page. It can be a little hard to tell. Like, obviously I filled in a little bit more here, but the biggest change is that right here, like the page break is right there. So I filled in all this dark space right here and then started filling in this. So, this diagonal, that's where the arm of the throne is going to come down, with her arm resting on it. So some new colors, because that's why I haven't done anything, is that none of these colors are used down here. So it'll be interesting to pull out some new colors once I fill in this section. So I was just looking at the numbers before I started recording, and I see that since the last national park that I finished on this one, Lake Clark, I have done 9,700 tent stitches, so I could easily use that for a park if I remove the starts on the last 3 parks, like one of the last 3 parks that I've already started. So I've got 22 parks done. The other 3 started. If I take away one of those starts and take my ending picture from Lake Clark, which was on this page, and since I've got pictures at both pages, I could use those stitches and get my 23rd park done. So I will probably do that, whichever park that a summer ball was started on. I don't remember which, if I look real quick. The summer ball was Virgin Islands National Park. So I'll probably do that, and then I'll have 23 out of 25 parks done. Still working for a page finish on this one for this month. It's only September 14th. And as you'll see, I've got all the rest of my personal goals, what I work on each month, done. So we'll try for the page finish maybe by next week, and we'll see. So that's Friends Forever by Ann Stokes. And then I did my monthly rotation on Big Red Ship of Life by Ink Circles to finish up this page here. As I showed you, I only had this large motif. I actually got that done in a day and a half. And so what I did is I started on the next page. I had threads parked from these flowers that I had started on the page above. And I did some other stitches. So we've already got the next page underway. So that is the whole piece so far. This is 1/1 on 28 count. Mushroom Even Weave by MCG Textiles using DMC 3808. So that is the entire piece so far. Let me fold it up closer so you can see what I worked on. So I completed this motif here, and I think I had to do this little guy right there. And a little bit of the sailboat, looks like model sailboat that she's holding. And then, so I didn't touch this border. You can see that's where the page break is. So I brought those parked threads down. I finished up, the right side of this motif. I did this entire motif and started working more up here for the 3 days that I worked on this one. So that was 1,400 stitches. This next page, the last page in this row, is fairly light in the stitches. So I'll probably see if I can get that page done in 2 months instead of 3 months. Because I told you I want this piece to represent our time here. My husband got here in October 2018. I didn't start this until December 2018. But then I started my 3-month per page in January. So if I can back that up a month here and there, it'll, assuming we're here for 4 years, or if it's less, it can just benefit me to get a little ahead of the curve on this one. So hope to get this page done then in November instead of December. But we shall see. So that is Big Red Ship of Life. And then yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of my start on Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Samplers. And I started down here in the bottom right corner. And so what I did yesterday is I finished up the horse's head and his little plume with the raven on top. And then I started bringing the border the rest of the way up to get into that part. So that was 740 stitches yesterday. Now, what I did with his head in terms of colored different colors. If you've ever been to a Renaissance fair, Renaissance festival in your state, and you've seen them jousting, you will probably have seen that the armored plates go over the horse's neck and in front of his face. His underneck and his jaw and the tip of his nose is usually bare. So that's, since his legs were bare, and his tail is bare, so I used that same dark color to show, the natural divide where the pattern motifs went. I did his underneck in that dark color, and then used some artistic privilege to show the tip of his nose and where that steel plate, and of course I made his eye the darker color as well. So then carried up the metal plates and the plume and the raven, and then I had a thread parked over here. I just brought it up and started working there. So that's where I will continue to go. Again, this is right here and down. This is 1 page high and 2 pages wide. So I'm going to try to finish the corner page, and then we'll figure out where I'll go from there. Now, 1-year anniversary since the start, and Pattern Keeper said I just reached 10%. I don't want this to be a 10-year project. So, obviously 1 day per month, 1 to 2 days per month is not sufficient. So I will take that into account when I'm making my 2021 goals to see how much I want to work on this one next year, or how much to shoot for getting done. Again, my goal for this year, which I'm not going to reach, was 4 pages. I don't even have 2 pages done, and it's September. So we'll have to readjust how many days per month I work on that. So those are the 3 pieces I worked on. My plans for this week: try to finish that page on Friends Forever. I still want to finish the next page on Museum Shelf, because then that will be 4 full pages on both pieces, which was my goal for the year. The next piece I decided I'm going to work on its goal for the year is the 4 Seasons Sal by Modern Folk Embroidery. I started this piece last year as well, even though it's a 2018 Sal. And for the year of 2020, I wanted to get this top corner done. I wanted all the winter part to be done. I have only worked on this piece once this year. I think that was in March. So, just because this is also 1/1 on 28 count, this is Monaco that I writ dyed. So it's hard for me to do my monthly rotation on Big Red Ship and also on this one. But since I have some time this month, I'm going to put some work in on this one. I may do like a few strands a day for the rest of the month and see where it takes me, and keep working on winter. So this is, like I said, DMC or writ dyed by me on Monaco, and I'm using DMC Ecru floss. So that is the Four Seasons Sal. We'll see how far I can get to. My only haul, I got my last fabric of the month. I was only getting three months worth to spend some birthday money. This is the August 2020 neutral fabric of the month from Color and Cotton. It's a really light tan taupe, holding it up against the cardboard so you can kind of see. It's hard to see with this bright light, but there is a little bit of a tan to that. So, no name for that one. But that concludes my fabric of the month from Color and Cotton. One other stitching related thing before we go to Aviation. If you watch Julie McConnell from Reflections, Framing and Stitching, her YouTube channel, I will always link that down below. She is starting something, or hosting a, not really a sale, and not really a challenge. She's hosting an event for the month of October. It's called Out of the Stash at Last. Since she's not able to have a fall retreat due to COVID and wasn't able to have a spring retreat due to COVID, her and a friend decided they're going to pull out the pieces they have wanted to start for years, but for some reason just haven't. So the guidelines, they're not rules, they're guidelines, is one new start each week. You post on Instagram. She's got the hashtag. I believe it's just out of the stash at last. It might have SAL at the end. You'll have to go check out her Flosstube, her last chart of the day. It was in the she talked about it in the Dan and Julie show last video, and also her chart of the day after that. So you show your materials. You post on Instagram your materials, and so your floss and your fabric laying down, and then at the end of the week you show how much progress you have. 1 start per week, 4 starts for the month of October. Out of the stash at last. So those things that you've had for years and want to stitch. So I have gone through my stash. I have pulled out 4 things that I've had kitted with fabric ready. So of course I have a lot more patterns in just like my pattern storage that I've wanted to stitch for a very long time. But these are things I actually had fabric cut and ready to go. So I think I know what those 4 are going to be. I'm not going to show them yet because it's still 2 weeks away and I can still change my mind. But that'll be, and they're all non-full coverage. I've got enough full coverage right now. I've had some non-full coverage finishes and UFOs, so it's time to get some more non-full coverage in there. So my 4 are non-full coverage. And you have 2 weeks to go through your stash if you're interested in doing that. And figuring out Instagram. I do believe she plans on giving out some prizes for those that are participating, or at least your name goes in a drawing and then somebody gets a prize. So that is all of my stitching content for this week. If that's all you're interested in, we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me, and let's talk aviation. So this past week, everybody knows, was the 19th anniversary of September 11th, 2001, when 4 planes were hijacked, and you can always find all kinds of things on the internet, people sharing where they were when it happened, what they were doing, sharing the good stories of like the boat lift, where thousands of boats heeded the Coast Guard call to help evacuate people off Lower Manhattan. Because all the bridges and the subways were closed. So after the towers were hit, thousands, I think they said 500,000, was it 300,000 or 500,000 people were evacuated by boat in the boat lift. And there is a video on YouTube about that, narrated by Tom Hanks. If you just search boat lift, or if I'll remember, I'll put it in the description below. So that's a very interesting and tearjerker story after September 11th. So my story is about something that one of my friends told me. This is someone that I worked with at Seymour Johnson, a fellow aircraft maintenance officer that subsequently separated and became a commercial airline pilot. So he still flies for one of the big airlines here in the United States. And something he posted on September 11th was really, I thought it was really cool, being, interested in airplanes and everything. So what it is, at commercial airports across the world, really, there are set navigation points at certain altitudes to make the pattern. So you have all these airplanes coming into the airport. They're all following the same routes, same patterns, so that there's no mid-air collisions. You hit this point at this altitude, and your next checkpoint is here at this altitude. And these checkpoints, these fixed points, have 5-digit or 5-letter alphanumeric codes. So the air traffic control, they know your tail number. They're say, American blah, 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 flight number this, hitting checkpoint, whatever, inbound to Reagan National Airport. And I say Reagan National because that's what I'm talking about. Going into Washington, D.C., back in September of 2012, so 11 years after the towers were hit, the Federal Aviation Administration decided to rename some checkpoints going into Reagan National Airport on the arrival sequences to remember the tragedy of September 11th. And my friend actually posted a picture of those checkpoints. Now, these are not all of them. I have more to tell you about. But remember, it's 5 letters. They usually, in other circumstances, they usually only use consonants to make, phonetic words. So I show this to you, and it says, "We will never forget September 11th. Always. Let's roll." And then over here there's stand together. Then there's the troop arrival is USA. We do support our troops. And then there's also 2 checkpoints, victory and hero. Again, sometimes doubling letters, like hero is HEROO. Just like you see, let's roll is RLLLL. Also in 2011, over Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where the 4th plane hit, they have a checkpoint Guardian. And yeah, so every time pilots fly into Reagan National Airport, let me hold that a little closer so hopefully you can see it. They get this reminder. And I read a story as I was researching this, where one pilot actually called out the checkpoints into the cabin to let the passengers know what checkpoints they were hitting. I think it was right around one of the anniversaries of September 11th. So real poignant. There you see Freedom. That's a nickname for this approach. So pretty cool. Being an aviation nerd. So that was a screenshot that he posted. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a good stitching week. Today was supposed to reach 79, but I don't believe so. It's pretty chilly outside. It was 37. I forgot to look up Celsius too. It was 37 degrees this morning when we were going to school. That's only 5 degrees above freezing. It was chilly. And our skies are starting to be smoky and hazy from all the smoke from the fires on the West Coast. So all the way here in North Dakota, we're seeing the effects of those fires. I hope everybody has a good stitching week, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.